Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another AITC video. We are here with the president of the student body at Ohlone College. As you may have known, we have been reporting on the Article 6 issues, on the Supremacy Clause. We've gotten a lot of reports from people from this just hyper-local government to all the way to the state government who've been showing some support. So Talha, thank you for joining us. We wanted to do a quick video to, number one, get your take on what happened in your last board meeting.
Well, the last board meeting honestly felt like a scene out of a movie. So a little background, what happened was before the board meeting, the president of the student body meets with the college president to go over the board agenda. And our constitution, as well as our budget, were placed on the consent agenda. And the consent agenda is a list of items that go to the board. Usually they're just approved as is. Think of them as items that are not really worth discussion, but need to be approved and dealt with accordingly. So something I think is unique at Ohlone College is for each item, it comes with a presidential memo. And for that memo, it basically tells the board how the president recommends them to vote. So during the agenda review with the college president, I noticed that our budget, the memo that came with it, it was written to approve the budget, except with the exception of 20% of it until we work out our issues with one member of the staff, as our budget, 20% of it went to staff for their salary. So I asked the college president, so when the board approves this, do they approve it as it's presented to them, or do they approve it based off how you recommend it to them? And she said it's approved as it's presented to them, not off her recommendation. So right before the board meeting, after we've gotten many people to come, the college president and board chair Bonacorsi take me outside, to which they say, actually, it's not as presented, it's off the recommendation. So after that, because our argument before, what we were planning on doing was asking the board not to pull the budget. So then we had to change it to ask them to pull the budget, so that way it wouldn't be approved with her recommendation, but approved as it's presented.
Okay. So what about the Article 6 or the Supremacy Clause? It seems like this was a lot to do with the budget. Was it all just encompassed together?
So yes, Article 6 was used against ASOC a lot. Article 6 is just a reflection of the administration's nature towards their students. Even if Article 6 was removed, and it is removed, there's nothing to guarantee that this type of incident won't happen again, except there wouldn't be anything that issues surrounding Article 6 could happen again, except this time they wouldn't pertain to just Article 6. It would just be abuse. So a big concern that everyone had was, say Article 6 does get removed, what's to stop the administration from doing what they've done before?
Well, I think it would just be just being a tyrant in that case.
Yeah, so that was our issue with the budget, right? So 20% of our budget goes to the staff assistant position for the Office of Student Life. We have no say in the position. We can't control the job description or ask that position to do anything. So it also comes from the student activity fee. So is it really fair to ask students to pay for the salary of college staff? Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does. And I know there are certain colleges, including Southwestern, where there is a part of the budget that comes from student activity fees go towards paying for staff. I'm not quite sure of the percentage. I don't think it's the entire budget, but yes, I am very familiar with that kind of stipulation in a budget. So it looks like, I mean, it sounds like good news to me. Maybe you can just dumb it down a shade, because I think people are a little bit concerned that, again, that this is something that could happen in their colleges. Maybe it's happening already and no one has said anything. But are you happy with the results? Are the students satisfied with what they got at the end?
Yeah, we're really happy because A, we got Article 6 amended, B, we got our budget back, And C, we can finally start on focusing to rebuild our student government and have it so that we're proper student advocates, even more so than we were before, as well as helping as many Ohlone students as we can with our ideas and our advocacy that we can present later on in the year.
Okay, very good. So it looks like you got your budget back. You didn't mention this, but I'm going to guess that you now are able to get a facilities, you go to facilities, get a room, have your meetings. Mm-hmm. And then when does your school year start?
August 26th.
Oh, same as Southwestern. So very good. So in the next week from now. So you guys will be ready to go. And looks like everything's great. So how are students feeling? Do you think there's some, I guess, quote unquote PTSD after this? Or are students pretty shaken up? Or do you think they feel more confident speaking up if they see something wrong?
A lot of our students are really, for lack of a better word, tired because we've spent countless hours just working around the clock to make sure all of these issues get resolved. But I think a really good benefit is that now the student government, in my opinion, is stronger than it ever was before. I feel like there's going to be a lot more a student community built around Ohlone, especially with having a student government as active as we are. Another one of our projects is helping our interclub council, making sure they're a lot more active, and just having a stronger presence overall at Ohlone.
Okay, very good. And now that you've managed to, I think you're probably the first school I know of who has turned a supremacy clause around. Have other schools approached you asking you for help in overturning their supremacy clauses?
No other schools have approached me or any of my colleagues that I know of about turning around supremacy clauses at their school. However, some of my colleagues and I have been discussing the idea of potentially going to General Assembly and writing a bill that could potentially abolish or call for the abolishment of supremacy clauses due to their unjust and oppressive nature.
Very good. And then in closing, Talha, you have the floor. Is there anything you'd like to say, or maybe any lessons you've learned from this? Anything you'd like to share with perhaps people who supported you or questioned you or had any questions?
So there were a lot of times where honestly I didn't know how the events would play out. But in those times, I always found that I was surrounded by people who supported me every step of the way. And I just want to thank them so much because this wouldn't have happened without all of their help and their contributions. And to my fellow community college students out there, I would like to say that just because you're a community college student does not make you in any sense, way, shape, or form a lesser student. You have the same rights that all the other students do. And I understand that community college doesn't have the same finesse that other colleges or universities do. But what's important is you spend the time that you're at a community college and you spend it in the best way you can to make the most of it. Yeah.
All right, that's excellent, Talha. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. We'll go ahead and we'll include links to your Instagram and your channels. I know you still have your petition on change.org, but
we updated the petition, so now that it just says victory.
Victory, okay. Well, we'll include that there as well in case people want to see who's been able to support you. I know there are some names in there. But I thank you for sitting down with us, and hopefully if you ever get a chance to help some schools in the future, we're able to hear from those as well.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Have a great day. And thank you everybody for watching.